So there are two types of future tenses. Think of them like a brick, though, in Spanish. So two types, they both more or less have the same function. But we're not going to look at both of them in one video because that's going to be quite a lot. So I'm going to split them in half. Callar, karate chop that video. And we're not going to look at the simple future today. We're going to be looking at the compound future. So it's called lots of different things. I've always called it the compound future because there's more than one part to it. So it's like building things. Brick analogy, get it? But other people you may have heard it referred to as the near future, the immediate future, or other things like that. But we're going to call it the compound future. So what does it do? Well, we'll look at when to use it, and then we'll look at how to form it. Really, it describes stuff in the future. That's fairly obvious. It is slightly more nuanced than that, because really what the compound future does is describes things that are sort of in the nearish future. The English equivalent of the compound future tense would be I am going to read, I'm going to eat, I'm going to swim. So that's what we're looking at today. Good news is it's really easy to form. It's one of the easiest tenses in Spanish to conjugate. Sorry, to make. It's not particularly difficult, and there are absolutely no irregulars, so it's nice and easy. So there's a three-step process. The first step you need to find the correct form of the verb ir, which means to go in the present tense. Step 2 is you add the letter a. Step 3 is you add the infinitive. Now, if you're looking like our unhappy smiley face here, don't worry. I'm going to take you through step by step to make sure you understand what I mean by the verb ir, what we mean by adding the letter a, and exactly what is the infinitive. And remember always to keep calm and conjugate. What I'm giving you here and what we've prepared here is a template for how to form this particular tense. You can do it. Don't freak out. Don't panic. Just keep calm and conjugate. It's just about applying the steps that we're learning and we're going to look at today. So do what? Conjugating? Don't freak out. Remember our potato. So if you watch the present tense, the chapter on the present tense, you'll know that conjugating is when you just take a potato and you change it into its different forms. Sorry, that's not what conjugating is. Think of it like a potato. Very few people eat a raw potato. What people like to do is they like to change the potato into chips or baked potatoes or roast potatoes. They're always good. Parboiled, they're quite nice. I'm going to stop talking about potatoes. In order to make it into the form that you want to use it. So conjugating is just like that. So you take the infinitive and you change it from the to eat into the I eat form, and then you'll have a nice happy smiley face like that. So conjugating is just a fancy word for changing it from the to form into the I, he, she, we, you, it, they form. So let's have a look at step 1 again. So you take the correct form of the verb ir. Now, if you are sitting there thinking, I have no idea what that means, don't panic. Ir means to go in Spanish. I'm also guessing you might be looking at going, oh, hang on, you told us that verbs in Spanish end in AR, ER, or IR. You're absolutely right, and well done for picking that up. It is just a very, very irregular verb, and there are only 2 letters to it, and it's IR, and it's pronounced ir. And what it means is, well, it means to go. And this is how you conjugate it. So you can see from these conjugations here that it is completely irregular. You know, it doesn't follow what you'd imagine it to follow. This is it in the present tense. So to say I go is voy, you go is vas, he, she, or it goes as ba, we go as vamos, you plural go as vais, they go as van. So you can see that you don't pronounce, well, first off, you can hear that you don't pronounce the V's as V's, and in fact pronounce them as B's. And second off, you can see it's not that difficult to remember the different conjugations. So now might be a good time to stop the video, have a practice of conjugating the verb ir, so maybe cover up the Spanish or the English, and test yourself just to see how comfortable you are with using it, and then unpause the video and we'll carry on. Okay, so you've looked at the verb ir, you're fairly confident with it now. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. So I think we can happily tick off step 1. So step 2, we need to add the letter a. It really is as simple as that. You just add a. So voy a. So can you see now why it's called the compound future? Because we're putting bits together. And then step 3, which is the easiest, you just add the infinitive. In this case, I've gone for abrazar, which is a lovely Spanish verb. It means to hug. So what we've got here is we've got voy a abrazar. I am going to hug. Nice and easy. So you'll notice from this little construction here that the only bit you really need to worry about is the ir. And once you learn these 6 conjugations, it's actually easy because the a never changes. And the infinitive, so in this case, abrazar, it doesn't matter if it's regular or irregular in other tenses because you don't change it out of the infinitive. You don't add things to it, you don't take things away from it. So it's nice and easy, voy a abrazar. Incidentally as well, to make it negative, you just put a little no in front of the conjugated ir. Nice. See, smiley face. Isn't that easy? Easy, easy, easy. Right. So yeah, all Fernando really is saying is number 1, you just need the verb ir in the right conjugation in the present tense. Step 2, add a. Step 3, add the infinitive. And step 4, which is possibly my favourite step, or not really a step, is there are no irregulars, so you don't need to worry about the irregulars. So before we have a practice, let's just have a look at that again. So we've got ir over here. Can you see the boy, bus, bam, spice, ban? That all comes from ir. Step 2 is there, a, and then the infinitive, abrazar, I am going to hug. Okay, so what I want you to do now is let's just see if you have learned it, how well you do understand it. Have a go at translating these 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, my maths is terrible. 7 sentences in English into Spanish. If you can't get Iceland or in the street or his head, don't panic too much because remember the key thing that we're looking at is to see if you understand. And a sec. To see if you understand this bit that I am going to visit. So if you can find out what Iceland is, well done. Give yourself a smiley face. But if you can't, don't worry. Okay? Now would be a good time to pause the video, have a go, and then in a sec what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through them and I'm going to show you the answers to see how well you've done. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers. Let's see how you've done. So, I'm going to visit Iceland. Number 1, A. Voy a visitar Islandia. Nice and easy, that voy a visitar. See, we start off with a nice and easy one. Hopefully you didn't have too much difficulty with that. B. You are going to sing in the street. Vas a cantar. So, vas is the U form of the ir. You've added your a. You got your infinitive, which is cantar. So, well done, nice and easy. And then en la calle, in the street. C. Fernando va a rascar la cabeza. What a lovely sounding word that is, rascar. So Fernando is going to scratch his head. Interestingly, by the way, in Spanish, you don't use personal pronouns. You don't use his, her, my, yours, our, yours, their for body parts because the assumption is that it's your head anyway. I mean, you can, but it's quite an anglicised, just a fancy word for English speaking. It's quite an anglicised way of doing things, so they just tend to say Fernando is going to scratch the head. Queenie, what's she going to do? She's going to snore on the train. So, la reina va a roncar en el tren. So you can see here we've got, they're all AR verbs, but it doesn't matter if they were ER or IR verbs because it doesn't change. The only bit that's changing, if you can see here, is the voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. Nothing else is changing. It's staying in the infinitive. Vamos a jugar al fútbol. Don't forget that accent, and don't forget you jugar al something. Or ala, but mostly al. F, vais a escuchar, so you are going to listen. And then G, van a nadar en el inodoro, so they are going to swim in the toilet. So, Brillo pads to you. Well done. I hope that's helped. I hope you've understood it. You have filled the mug of success with hot knowledge, and that is a massive air high five from you, from Fernando. So well done. Woo-hoo.